Good afternoon and welcome to this Thursday's edition of The Pulse. And in less than 24 hours, our compatriots will be laid to rest at the military cemetery. And this afternoon, we've got every angle covered for you ahead of the state funeral tomorrow. We are live on DSTV channel 421, Go TV 125, and around the world. It is myjoyonline.com, also on X Spaces, on YouTube, and of course on Facebook. My name is Elton Brobe. Now, coming up this afternoon, final preparations are underway at the Blaster Square for the state burial tomorrow for the 6 victims of last Wednesday's helicopter crash.
The Armed Forces has the responsibility of moving our fallen heroes from the morgue to the Blaster Square and then to the military cemetery after the funeral service.
Also coming up, former Majority Leader Ose Chairman Sabonsu calls for immediate insurance cover for Ghana's military helicopters, revealing that none of the fleet is currently covered.
The military helicopters are not insured. Has the time come for us to consider perhaps insuring?
We've got details as both chairman and the ranking member on the Defense and Interior Committees makes a bipartisan promise to ensure retooling of the Ghana Armed Forces to honor the memory of the 8 fallen heroes.
Our army has all the logistics they require as well as the Navy.
This is a collective resolve we've made way back even before this unfortunate incident.
We also hear from the Asante who is telling politicians to keep politics out of the presidential planes and helicopter procurements. Also, MPP flag bearer raised his up as former Education Minister Dr. Yao Seadichum becomes the latest aspirant to pick nomination forms, expressing confidence his party will choose him to lead and change the country's course for the better. And later we'll bring you an exclusive 360 interview with Ghana's new ambassador to South Korea, a remarkable journey from humble beginnings to global boardrooms and now carrying the nation's flag high as a diplomat.
When the Korean presidential envoy came to Ghana, it was me that served him.
They had to fall on you to do the interpretation.
Yeah. So I wasn't serving, as you mentioned, as a party member or to a certain party. I was serving the nation.
And you want to stay tuned for that interview. Plus, he tells us how President Mahama reached out to him 2 days after winning the 2024 election with a promise to make him Ghana's ambassador to South Korea, plus other very interesting revelations in this package. These and many more coming your way in today's edition of The Pulse, brought to you by Different Drill Expectorant, Different Drill, Breathe Easy, Feel Better. My name is Elton Brobe. Stay tuned as we bring you all these exciting stories ahead of the state burial tomorrow. Of course, you're welcome back, and we are live on X Spaces, on YouTube, and of course on Facebook. My name is Elton Brobe. It is The Pulse here on Joy News. We are looking at all the major stories making news this afternoon. Now, the former Majority Leader, Ose Chairman Sabonsu, is today calling for an immediate insurance policy for all military helicopters following last week's crash that claimed the lives of 8 Ghanaians, including the Defense and Environment Ministers. The final funeral rites for the 6 of the 8 victims will take place tomorrow, Friday, as the burial of Dr. Murtala Mohammed and Alhaji Muniru Lemuna has already been done. Now, speaking on a special tribute edition of PM Express, Ose Chairman was revealed that currently none of Ghana's military helicopters is insured, and urged the government to take steps to ensure the entire fleet.
The military helicopters are not insured. But given where we are today and the fact that cities are far between and the president and ministers have to travel by these copters, apart from ensuring routine servicing, but of course the armed forces are very spot on when it comes to servicing their vessels. And has the time come for us, given the fact that they have become more or less passenger planes.
A regular means of transport for VIPs.
A regular means of transport for the president, ministers, and so on. As the time comes for us to consider perhaps ensuring these ones that serve other purposes other than, just military purposes. You remember that until the tragedy befell the nation at Accra Stadium, the stadia in the country were not insured. They were not. But then Parliament then took a decision and requested the ministry and the Football Association, the GFA, to start immediately, beginning from the next succeeding year, to insure our stadia.
Yeah.
And ever since, we have been doing that.
Well, on the status of the military aircraft, former Defense Minister Dominic Netu says although all 4 of the Z-9 helicopters are due for maintenance this year, that does not make them obsolete.
Aircraft is actually stationed in Takrade. It's not stationed in Accra because it's a Ghana Gas aircraft.
Okay.
Ghana Gas bought it for their pipeline surveillance. It was initiated during President Mills' time, but then on the 23rd of September 2015, President Mahama actually commissioned it for the Ghana Armed Force to be using. So literally, anytime, for example, they're servicing, the Ghana Gaza will give the MOD, which is Ministry of Defense, the money to do the servicing and all the kind of things that they need to do and make sure it's done. In fact, those aircrafts are due for servicing this year, but they are still allowed to fly anyway. But this year, they'll take the 3 that are left to go and do the service. And one actually had a problem in 2019 or 2020 en route from Daboya in the north to Tamale. Okay. My military generals were on it. It came down just like how this one came down. But this all survived. We left that aircraft because it was, I would say right up, but it was badly damaged. So this is not the first time it has happened. But we made sure that we kept all of them in good shape. So, but that's a different story altogether. Yeah.
Well, meanwhile, the leadership of Parliament Defense and Interior Committee, they've made a bipartisan commitment to ensure the retooling of Ghana Armed Forces in honor of the 8 fallen heroes. Now, listen to the chairman of the committee, James Agaga, and the ranking member, Reverend Tim Fojo.
The best way we can remember Umani is to ensure that that vision is not shattered. Yeah. Whoever chosen to replace Dr. Umani Puama must continue with that vision so that our armed forces is able to fly, our army has all the logistics they require, as well as the Navy.
Mr. Tim Fojo, does he have your support in this, in ensuring this retooling in ultimate memory of Omani Boama?
Yeah, very much so, Evans. My chairman, Honorable Agaga, has the full support of myself and all members on the committee. This is a collective resolve we've made way back even before this unfortunate incident.
Right, so this is the situation as we have it now, and the question is about whether there's a need for us to take a second look at ensuring military, aircrafts and other equipment that they use. Let me bring in the Member of Parliament for Buakwa South, who is expert in this area, Dr. Kingsley Ajiman, and he joins me on phone. Dr. Ajiman, good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Great to have you here, and it's been a while. I trust you're doing good. So let's start with why, is there a reason why mostly you will find military vehicles, equipment, police vehicles, same, and most government officials not insured?
Okay, so very good afternoon to your Terrace listeners in the U.S. Let me first start by saying that insurance can be done everywhere and for anything. Just that for some of these governmental things, because the state usually has resources to cater for compensation, we don't usually, or they may not usually insure them. That does not mean they are uninsurable. But knowing what we now know and the level of exposures that are at risk, I think it's about time we do some form of insurance for both the vessel or the craft and even third parties under the public liability policies.
So, for example, if for example a military aircraft is insured, what will be the advantage for those who are on board?
Yeah. So, for instance, I mean, my condolences to the bereaved families, but beyond the accident, families must be kept in place. There are compensations, public liability for third parties that will be on board, so that they are catered for, comprehensively insured, with high levels of amount to take care of their bereaved families. So you may just put it this way. The question you should be asking is that largely, you say that military or apart from fair paying passengers, from normal commercial insurances, they are usually not they are accepted risk or excluded peril. That doesn't mean they are not insurable, because the presidential jet is insured. Why is the presidential jet insured and military aircraft are not insured? I think it's about time we did that, because a high volumes are risk. There's a reason why governments have interest in businesses. And for insurance businesses, we all know SIC insurance, government has a controlling interest. So other privately owned insurers may not insure. Government insurance through captive or setting up of captive insurances can insure some of these excluded perils that you may usually not find under commercial insurance or private insurance.
But I mean, the thing is that these individuals, they do the kind of job they do. I mean, places a high level of risk on them. I mean, until recently, the Ghana National Fire Service officers who go to fight fire had no insurance cover. It is just few weeks ago that the Interior Minister says that they are putting in place something of a sort. The military, the police, they leave their home. It is the possibility that they will not return is high, and yet they don't have any cover whatsoever.
It has not been the goodwill of government over the past to do this for these servicemen. But it's about time, because it is their risk exposure that even requires that we take some form of insurance for them. Either you take commercial insurances for them using the captive insurance company of the government, or you set aside a fund to take care of them. But beyond the tribute, when the burials are made, condolences are extended, that becomes the end of it.
Absolutely.
And families, children of these servicemen who have to go to school, basic or routine expenditures must be incurred. How much do we even pay for these eventualities when they do occur? So the state must be interested in some of these things. I mean, gone are the days when we used to do things anyhow. Now we can't just do things the same way and expect a different kind of results. These are able men, people who have invested in themselves, carried on very well, the crew and the other passengers that were on board. How many times does even a minister fly? It means that, I mean, traveling within Ghana using this aircraft are unavoidable. There are instances you may have to go by air. So it means that we are exposed. People who are not necessarily military men or servicemen are exposed every day.
Right. So the approach should be what exactly?
Sorry?
The approach to normalize this. What will be your recommendation?
It's a straightforward thing, unless maybe the government may not be interested. But it's a straightforward thing. The Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Interior, they should contact the government insurance company, which is SIC Insurance, to begin a process. It's as simple as that. This one is not like a rocket science. It's a straightforward thing. If governments are desirous to protect the future of servicemen in this country, the best vehicle is through an insurance policy.
Okay. Finally, before I let you go, I know that Murtala Mohammed was a colleague in Parliament. I don't know how close you guys were, and the others who the entire nation will come to bury them tomorrow. What will be your tribute before I let you go, Dr. Ajman?
I mean, it's a very concerning issue. For instance, Dr. Wani Bwama was my senior in Pope John Secondary School. Very unfortunate. Mutala was a colleague on the floor, and all of that. I wish their families very well. I pray that we use this opportunity as a way of ending this galamsey thing. The best tribute to this serviceman or this public servant is to take the galamsey fight to another level. Because the day immediately after the day that the incident happened, in my constituency, I mean, 5 people died in a pit. Galamsey. So it's very unfortunate. But we continue to soldier on.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Ginsa Ajman is a member of parliament for Abuakwa South in the Eastern region. We've got a lot to unpack today because the police, they've announced road closures ahead of the state funeral tomorrow. I'll bring you details of that statement. But let's stay on this matter because the priest of the St. James Seminary Senior High School in Sunyane, Father Sistus Evans Apiachere, has admonished Ghanaians to be prepared for life's uncertainties by living a worthy lifestyle to please God. Now, Father Sistus was speaking at a requiem mass in Sunyane for his former classmate, squadron leader Peter Bafemi Anala, who died with 7 others in the helicopter crash that last week. Now, former mates of the late pilot shared some fond memories. Precious Semabo has more from the Bono regional capital, Sunyane.
Leader Peter Bafemi Anala completed St. James Seminary Senior High School at Abisim near Sunyane in the Bono region 2007. On July 22, 2025, Peter flew a helicopter over the school and shared an area video with his former mates. He promised his mate, Father Sistus Evans Apiachere, who is now a priest at the school, that he would be back to see him. But 2 weeks later, squadron leader Anala tragically died in the August 6 helicopter crash at Adansi with 7 others, including 2 ministers of state.
Peter was a classmate who was an interesting person. He had a sense of humor that we all admired a lot. And to lose such a person is not easy at all. It's very painful.
A solemn requiem mass by the old student of St. James in Peter's honor was attended by many, including former Attorney General Alfred Tuanyeboa. Some of his mates shared their reflections.
You know, we were admitted into St. James as seminarians, so we were in the seminarians' dormitory. So he was a very nice person, jovial. He has this bubbly personality. Peter's death, you know, is a big blow.
Peter was a dedicated member. In fact, on our pages, he's always around. Peter was serving the nation. He served well. So we are very sad.
Father Sistus in his sermon said, we must be prepared at all times by living a worthy lifestyle.
What we are seeing today is also a caution to all of us that this life is unpredictable. Anything can happen to us. We don't know what is in the next hour, so it can happen to all of us. That is why we also need to prepare ourselves all the time, trying to be in good relationship with other people, just as he did, all the time, so that when our time comes, we will not be found wanting. Let us pray that God will find a better place for Peter.
A state funeral is slated for August 15, 2025. Precious Semavo, Joy News, Sunyane.
Right, so we are still preparing towards tomorrow's state funeral for the remaining 6 from that unfortunate incident of last week. Now, there's been a lot of talk around prophecies and what government must do about it. The government on Monday issued a statement making its position clear on this particular matter. There's been a lot of clarity brought on this matter. The presidential envoy on interfaith and economical relations has justified his office decision to receive prophecies from individuals for review. Now, according to him, the office has so far received numerous submissions. And you want to know what exactly government is doing about these prophecies? Now, take a listen.
But we have here with us the presidential envoy for interfaith and ecumenical relations here with us. Let's find out from him also the preparations that are underway for tomorrow's event. Hello, Mr. Elvis Efria Ankra, he's here with us. Mr. Ankra, you're welcome to join us.
Thank you very much.
Some days ago, you came out, you released a statement on prophecies, and I'm sure you've seen some of the criticisms that have been, put forward by some persons after that release. I just want to find out from you what you make, of that.
Do you have a prophecy for me?
Not yet.
People say,
yeah.
My office is a collector of prophecies. I think that first of all, I got my appointment letter about 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So people haven't heard about the appointment, people didn't know about it, people didn't know about the office. So that alone was a problem. And then when the statement came out, we did not define the office, because that was not the purpose. Yeah. And so for good reason, maybe some people felt that an office has been set up solely to collect prophecy. That's why you saw all those memes and all that. But I took it in good faith. It's part of the others of the job. But importantly, the office is meant to coordinate with all the various religious bodies, Christian, Muslim, and other faiths, and to help foster unity and oneness in the country, both locally and across the sub-region. And the religious community, if you look at the last population census, the religious community constitutes over 90% of the entire population. So they are critical in the society. I've heard people say government should focus on governance and allow churches to do.
They say Ghana is a secular state. So why make it?
Yeah, but what is governance? Governance is the government is to ensure the interests of the citizens are protected and advance those interests. Now, Christianity, Islam, or faith has become part of our society. I mean, 90% of the population. So it's your reality that you have to deal with. And then we've had situations where there are thousands, millions of very, very good pastors, but you have situations where a few of them, the things they say and do in public tend to cause fear and panic. And unfortunately, within this period when the country is grieving, you have situations where people say, well, we foresaw it, but we couldn't get access to officialdom. Okay. And can you imagine, my name is my brother, well, close. Somebody says, look, I tried to call him. I saw the videos, whether it was really before. He says he saw it. Maybe, bro, Charlie, this is before we hear. Maybe go by road or something. We wouldn't be here today. So it's within that context that we said, look, if you have a prophecy, so it's not all prophecies. It's not even all prophecies about state officials or even the president. We're saying that those that are sensitive and delicate and have security implications. So if you look at the whole cohort of prophecies that people give, 90%, maybe 5%, 2% of those prophecies that are sensitive. For example, if you say a Ghana Air Force plane is going to crash, whichever way, it's a security matter. Okay. So those specific ones, we are saying that don't put it out there in a raw form. That will create problems. You've been complaining that you don't have access to officialdom. We've created a WhatsApp platform and created an email address, send it to us, and then we will review. Then review became a problem. So review, and then I went to the Bible. The Bible is very clear that we should test prophecy. So test means that there is the room for review, okay? To assess, to evaluate. So maybe we should have used all those words. There's nothing strange about assessing the prophecy, whether there is substance in it, because some definitely will be chaff. There's a lot that is coming that is chaff, complete bogus, that will be thrown into the dustbin. But there may be a few that may have some substance, and then you, if you need to speak to the people for further clarification, you do that. If you need to call them for a meeting, and again, this business of everybody wants to meet the president, you will not meet the president. Let me make that very clear. You will not meet him. That's not his job. He has to focus on governance. We have been set aside to deal with you. So if anybody thinks that there's an avenue for him to meet the president, it's not going to happen. Let me put that on record on Joy. It's not going to happen. So, but we'll create the avenue for you to be listened to, and then we said escalate. That too became a problem. Escalate means that we'll take it to the next level. If the need arises, if we see that there's some substance in it, alert national security, alert whoever it is that, oh, this is what we've picked up. Can you check from your natural sources, okay? Can you do some work? Can you, so it's a balance, so it's not some esoteric something. Okay. The spiritual side, again, people make it look like who will assess it. Hello, this is Ghana. We have thousands, hundreds of thousands of prophets, men of God, servants of God who have proven themselves in this country. Credible, local and international. So the capacity is there, and we work with all of them. So that is the context. So I understood, but again, you see, it's a sensitive subject, and people are not comfortable. And I saw the Christian Council statement asking for clarification, which we are ready and willing to do. Okay. And indeed, part of the job of our office is to engage the various stakeholders, which we are going to do. Okay. However, we had a crisis on our hands. Okay. In the midst of this, when families were grieving and were all traumatized, they are telling us that there's more going to happen. More planes are going to fall. More, and then people think we should just leave it and allow it to go as business as usual. Respectfully, I disagree with us. People can disagree. I have a very strong view about this matter, that there was the need for this intervention to bring some order, so that people will not say, oh, we saw it, well, we didn't have the opportunity. We are giving you the opportunity so that if there's a need for us to do something about it, then we will do it.
Yeah. Have you received any so far?
Oh, plenty. Oh my goodness! There's somebody who is a dedicated volunteer who is, and then.
Can you put a number to the number of?
Oh, I don't want to, but it's plenty. Believe me.
More than 200.
Oh, it should be more.
500.
Like I said, I don't want to play the numbers game. Okay. But what I'm saying is that, by and large, 70-80% is not of no substance. Okay. Then you look at the rest, the 20%, and then you sift through, and maybe 2, 3, 5% may deserve some further probe. Okay. So it's not a full-time job or office that has been set up solely to receive prophecies. That's not how it works. The office has multiple duties. We collaborate with ECOWAS, we collaborate with African Union, we collaborate with the UN, and locally with all the various faith bodies, not even just Christians as well.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
You just heard the presidential envoy on interfaith and ecumenical relations speaking to us there on a statement that was released by his office that if you are a man of God and you have any prophecy about the presidency, you should submit it for review. That received quite a number of criticisms, and he's been responding to that.
Right, so that's Master Agbagba there. Master will join us shortly, but the key word here is that if you are a prophet and you are seeking audience with the President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, you will not have it. That's according to the presidential envoy on interfaith. Now, they've also received over 200 prophecies since the office announced this some few days ago. Between 70 and 80, according to Elvis Afie Ankara, are bogus, no substance at all. The 20 of them, they are reviewing it. And if the state will have to take action, they will do so. What do you make of this? Well, you can leave your comments on our social media handles, X Spaces, YouTube, and Facebook. There's been a reaction to this. Government is facing renewed criticism over its plans to assess the credibility of religious prophecies, with Cardinal Peter Appiah-Texan weighing in on the debate. Now, the Cardinal, Chancellor of the Pontifical Academy of Science and Social Sciences, cautions that any review process must be handled with extreme care due to the complicity and potential contentiousness of identifying and verifying prophecies and their proponents. Now, let's listen to what he had to say in this interview, my colleague Emefa Adeti.
Credible. How do we determine that? What is the criteria for a credible prophet? It leaves a lot of questions that need to be answered. But in any case, wherever prophecies occur, and God making His knowledge known to you, you consider the content of that message, and if it requires some intercession, please do that now before you even seek to communicate that to anybody. What I have learned in these, I don't know how many years, at least 50 years of being a priest and all of that in this regard, and we're dealing with some such experiences. I think prophecies as a communication of divine knowledge to humans, first and foremost, makes you privy of God's thoughts and whatever. And for me, the first consequence is to speak with God himself, especially if the content of the privacy is about disaster or evil or something that may befall.
So that's Cardinal Peter Appiah Thexton. Now, tomorrow is the D-Day. Tomorrow, the entire nation will come to a standstill because we will be putting to rest 6 individuals involved in that helicopter accident last week. Now, government has put together an arrangement to ensure that we have a smooth program tomorrow starting at 8:30 a.m. Now, Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of operations at the presidency, Sandobe, says that military-led ceremony will strictly enforce all protocols and accord full honors to the deceased. He said large crowds are expected and adequate security arrangements have also been made to maintain order.
Government officials, all institutional tributes from the various institutions that our departed comrades work with or associated with will be read during the pre-burial period before 9 o'clock. After the service, the bodies of the 6 that are yet to be buried would be conveyed to the military cemetery at Chado for burial. And there as well, the Ghana Armed Forces, together with the churches of the 6 departed comrades, would take charge of the burial ceremony at the military cemetery. Because of the rather large number of people that will be expected tomorrow, a number of measures have been taken to ensure that we have a very solemn ceremony. So for the media that is here, you would have seen the ongoing setup. We are trying our best to provide as many chairs as we can to accommodate the thousands of people that we expect to join the various families and the government officials here for the service. We are going to label the various canopies appropriately.
So that's the Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of operations at the presidency, Stan Dogwe. And the event is tomorrow at the Blaster Square, not the forecourt of the State House, Blaster Square, formerly Independence Square. Now, there's also those who want to make donations ahead of the funeral service and beyond. The Chief of Staff, Julius Zebra, has directed that all donations from institutions to the government in support of the funeral service be shared equally among families of the 8 deceased persons.
Companies and individuals have made some donations of items, water, drinks, floral tissue, and other things to the government for
that there is free flow of traffic in terms of mourners, family members, and all that have everything to do with this occasion. In light of this, there are certain roles that are going to be managed. So from tomorrow morning at about 5 a.m., traffic police officers will be deployed to manage traffic that are coming from Laboni and Osu through the Independence Square to the Central Business District. What is this is that we will ensure that there is no congestion. And so as and when we view and see that traffic is compounding, certain traffic diversions have been made to deliver these traffic services to routine commuters and residents around Independence Square. Those on La Road, when the road is blocked.
Right, so that's the police on traffic management tomorrow. There's an official statement available on our social media page. We'll bring that to you. We also got something to show you this afternoon. There's something Osei Tutu II has cautioned political actors against turning the procurement of presidential planes and helicopters into partisan propaganda, stressing that such acquisitions are matters of national security and not political convenience. He issued a caution when the Ashanti Regional Minister, Frank Amakwehene, paid a courtesy call on him at the Menchia Palace following last week's tragic helicopter accident in Obuasi, which claimed the lives of 8 persons. Osei Tutu II described the incident as a national concern and expressed deep sympathy to President John Mahama and the affected families. He underscored the need for Ghana's political actors to treat aviation safety and security equipment procurement with seriousness it deserves. And he says that enough of the politicization of the purchase of presidential planes. Well, let's do some politics before we bring you our exclusive interview, because one of the hopefuls for the MPP presidential race, Dr. Yaosei Aduchum, former education minister, has expressed confidence that his party will choose him as presidential candidate for the 2028 general elections. And he was addressing the media after receiving the party's nomination form, picked on his behalf by his supporters early today.
The journey that began many years ago has now gone to a place where we are on track. We are on track. And by the grace of God, my party, I believe, will vote for me and make me the flag bearer of the new patriotic party. And after that, we'll be on a journey to the promised land. The land that our nation has been yearning for years. That our nation will become a prosperous one. Our nation will wage war against poverty and win. That the poverty and deprivation will be over. That is what the campaign of 2028 will be about. To be about a country that had independence many years ago. We've done our very best. From the first president to the current president, each one of them have done something great. Yet, we have a lot to do. And that is what the Aduchum presidency will be about.
Let's take a quick bite on this matter, and let me bring in Yao Poku-Mensah, who speaks for Dr. Yaosei Aduchum. Mr. Poku-Mensah, so, I mean, this signal that you are really into this race. Yesterday, similar exercise was done for the former vice president by some youth groups of the party. You think that Dr. Aduchum is a man the MPP need to recapture power in 2028?
Yeah, let me say good afternoon to yourself and to our lovely viewers and the good people of our party, the NPP party, who are listening or who are watching us this afternoon. I would say it's an exciting moment, a history made within the camp of Dr. Yaosei Aduchum. It's a moment that we were waiting for after the intended declaration was done by him, that when the party opens up, he will pick up form and contest for the position of the flag bearer of the NPP. And that is what we were waiting for. Lord being so good, today, which is a Thursday, a born day for him as well and myself, we trooped to the party headquarters led by individuals that Doc personally has had influence on them. 150 students who are pursuing various studies within the STEM area, i.e. Medicine and engineering, led the group to pick the forms for Dr. Yaosei Aduchum to make that bold statement to the good people of Ghana. So we are confident in our camp that come what may, the good people of Ghana, through the delegates of the NPP will do us the honors by allowing us to lead the party and capture power for the party come the 2028 elections that we all have been waiting for.
And to what extent does opinion polls we've seen from individuals and media houses, how are you factoring into your strategy? You know very well that these polls doesn't put your candidate ahead of the rest.
So we welcome every poll that comes, and every moment it comes becomes a learning experience for us. We begin to change our strategy, and to us, the best polls will be the day that the delegates will line up and vote for Dr. Yao Osei-Aduchum. We are in constant interaction with the delegates, and the response that we are getting on the ground is overwhelming. The fact that we are not in the media doing noise about what is happening in our camp do not mean that we are not in touch with the delegates. This is an internal contest. We do know where the delegates are, and our message is tailored towards the interest of the good people of our party. They are the ones to make the actual data count when it comes for the party to make that choice. And you will feel the euphoria around what happened today as a result of the declaration that was made, not just an intention to contest on the ticket of a political party, but it was an intention and a bold statement that we made to the good people of Ghana that if we want to be true independent in terms of economic wise, then this is the right moment for the people within the New Patriotic Party to make that bold statement by electing Dr. Yao Osei-Aduchum to lead the front and ensure that everybody in this country do benefit from the transformational thinking ability of him, the innovative thinking of him, and what his inner built potential has always been, that he demonstrated at the Ministry of Education towards the success story of this country. And this is the moment that we are making that statement, not just for politics, but a true commitment to the spirit and to the brains of this, to the brains of the country, so that we get the opportunity and we will assure them that we will serve them in the best interest that we can, as they can attest to what Dr. Yao Osei-Aduchum stands for.
All right, we'll leave it here for now, and then hopefully pick this conversation up next month when the party will begin to go through the process of vetting and clearing them to contest. We'll take a short break here on the pod. When we return, we'll bring you that conversation with Ghana's ambassador to South Korea, Kojo Choi. Welcome back. This is a pause now, the moment you all been waiting for. It is that moment in the bulletin where we bring you the remarkable story of Ghana's ambassador to South Korea, Kojo Choi, a journey from an ordinary missionary child who attended regular schools and so enjoys the same meals you and I eat, to a top global business mogul and now a diplomat representing Ghana abroad. His life is a testament to resilience, perseverance, and the power of never giving up. A story that inspires countless young Ghanaians to keep chasing their dreams. I had a sit down with him, and you're welcome to listen in. So this is the pause. Of course, this is a special edition of the pause from somebody everybody is yearning to hear from. Basically because of the manner in which he was introduced into the public space. And I'm talking about no other person but Ghana's nominated ambassador to the Republic of South Korea. And we are privileged to have Kojo Choi on the program. Kojo, you're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Next saying.
Bibiaye Boko. And I also
Bibiaye Boko pa. Right. So I'm curious to know how you met President Mahama, for example, and what may have pushed him to give you this very important position.
You know, he has won the hearts of many of us when we were very young. And I, in particular, loved him so much when he came to speak on radio, especially on your Joy FM station. In fact, Joy was the best radio station back then with your... There's so many wonderful jingles.
Thank you for that endorsement.
Yes. And growing up, I had a very keen interest of following him, knowing him. Of course, I grew and had different opportunities of seeing him and knowing him. So, for instance, he actually wrote a book called My First Coup d'etat.
Right.
He will write. Of course, he'll be very busy in the presidency when he was a president, and he wanted maybe quiet time, a different place where, out of his busy schedule, he will come to my restaurant, Le Must, to just focus and write his book. And I remember serving him as he was writing his book. Besides that, when he became the first vice president many years ago, the Vandal Association, our Vandal group, Old Vandal, appointed 5 members to go and greet him. So I had somebody like the late Dr. Yao Kranchi, late Kwesi Kumson. They were my very good friends and mentors, and they wrote my name for us to go and greet him together. So there were many instances, but the real instance where he got to know me as a person with certain capacity and value was 2 years ago when he was invited to Korea as a keynote speaker to a conference dubbed Korea-Africa Business Summit. And I was also invited as a panel speaker. And he saw me moving so smoothly, and I actually had a time to talk with the Prime Minister, together with His Excellency President John Mahama, with the Foreign Minister of Korea, and I believe that was when he took keen interest and attention.
But you have a huge responsibility, and we'll come to what exactly what exactly the brief says in terms of what is expected of you as Ghana's ambassador to Korea. But there's also, we've seen pictures of you with former President Kufuor and Nana Akufo-Addo. Care to explain the relationship between these individuals as well? Because the assumption is that once you are appointed by a particular regime, you are aligned with them. But you appear to roll with everybody.
I work for the country, and of course, President has no parties. He's beyond parties. I remember when I graduated from my SOS college, I decided to stay. And it was my father's advice that I should remain and become a very unique, Korean African, Korean Ghanaian. And true to his prophecy, when Korean Envoy would come to Ghana, it was President Kufuor who called my service to interpret for him. So I did interpret for President Kufuor with the Korean Special Envoy. And same so for President Nana Akufo-Addo. Again, when the Korean Presidential Envoy came to Ghana, it was me that served them.
They had to fall on you to do the interpretation.
So I wasn't serving, as you mentioned, as a party member or to a certain party. I was serving the nation.
And that obviously puts you in a unique position to be an ambassador and to advance the cause of our foreign policy in Korea.
I think it was training in practice. So without knowing, I believe Ghana was training me. Ghana knew already that today would come. I never knew. I never dreamed of a position like this. I never dreamed of going back to Korea to live. So whatever is happening right now is something that I have never, thought or sought for.
But I'm also, I'm certain that you read the media commentary when the announcement was made, and some even questioned your nationality, whether the president has given a position to a foreigner, which may be against what the Constitution dictates. But then we got to know that you're actually a Ghanaian citizen. If you can enlighten us on that.
No, I totally welcomed every comment from every side. It is very natural and normal because we Ghanaians, Africa especially used to be a very tribal, it wasn't really a country, but it was very ethnic-centered, tribal, people. But we often forget that race is different from nationality.
Right.
So, as there was a national debate of people, really speaking out their voices, I didn't have to say anything. I believe through the discussion, people got to understand more that the time for Ghana to open itself to accommodate, you know, the diversity and inclusion is far delayed. And the decision that the president did and Ghana did in appointing me has actually brought a ray of hope to many other African countries where many foreign nationals who really are patriotic and they really want to make a difference for their country, where they were born or they've lived the entire life, were never given the chance or opportunity. But now they feel that this really will bring some hope. As Ghana led the independence of the entire African countries in, you know, through Kwame Nkrumah,
right.
Yet our president, John Dramani Mahama, has set a whole new monument.
All right. So 14, when you first came to Ghana, according to the records that we have, you were 14 years old.
Yes.
You came with your parents?
Yes, of course. I was a minor. My parents, Korean pastors, Presbyterian missionaries. So they came to Ghana to serve and to preach the gospel. So, you know, following them, unlike other Korean children whose parents worked for embassies and big companies, giants, my father lived without much. And unlike my friends who had the opportunity of studying in very expensive schools, he sent me to SOS JSS in Tema.
SOS, which
JSS.
For now, today is reputed as one of the most expensive.
Well, no, SOS colleges.
Okay.
So SOS JSS is just like ordinary junior high school. But that gave me a lot of and I actually lived as a Ghanaian with my friends.
Okay.
You know. And 3 years of my experience at SOS JSS really equipped me as a Ghanaian. And SOS College that you just heard that today is very expensive and today is known as to be one of the best schools. At my time was basically a full scholarship-based school because SOS Kinderdorf was basically funding everything to look for the best students. So. I mean, I actually wrote very, very, fearful competition to qualify to join the school.
So your parents came in as missionaries,
yes,
with the intention of coming to do their missionary work and possibly leave. Is that what happened, or you decided to stay after schooling?
You know, my father has already bought a land and he's turned into a grave. So one of our fellow Korean missionary had passed 3 years ago. We had buried her into the burial site, and he has already told us where he wants to be positioned in that graveyard. And I know where I'm going to be. So he had no intention of leaving Ghana.
Okay.
I wanted to leave, to be honest.
You wanted to leave?
Yes, because SOS College gave us all the opportunities to go to the best schools around the world. But it was I think it was my biggest decision to stay. It was my father who actually convinced me to stay, and that was when I decided to naturalize.
Okay, so what actually got you to change your mind? What did he say that influenced your decision to stay?
You know, a good son, a good Christian brother is somebody who obeys, and obeying God and obeying your parents. So it was an act of obedience.
Okay, so tell us. How was life like around that period at SOS?
When I was,
I'm sure you came to Ghana. I don't know whether you were able to speak English back then, or it was the first time you were learning to speak English.
It was all body sign language. It was all body sign language, and I just was.
So how difficult was it to integrate, knowing very well that language was a barrier?
I just loved Ghana. You know, to me, Ghanaians have the best, I would say, attitude. You know, when Ghanaian is sad, he's sad.
Yeah.
When you're angry, you're angry. I learned it and I picked it. So, body language was more than enough to be part of my friends. And my friends loved me a lot. Actually, there is a Kenki get-together next week, Saturday.
Kenki party.
SOS, Kenki party of SOS my year mate. We just became brothers and sisters in no time. Language wasn't a barrier. I think it was the heart that needed to be connected.
Because at 14 you couldn't even speak English.
Oh, no,
but now
no,
you
no.
speak impeccable English.
Well, thanks to you.
That's quite a transformation.
Yes.
And I mean, you are in a class, a teacher is teaching you using English, and you still came out on top, went to the University of Ghana, or you had private tuition. How difficult was it to finally abandon Korean and start learning English?
I became a total Ghanaian. There was no other nationality than Ghana and me in the school. And just being one of them, living and eating and sleeping as one of us, we are young, so we'll catch in no time. So it just took me about a year to understand. Of course, there were many different criteria that I had to work out, such as eating fufu with my friends and all of that. For example, fufu, you remember, I don't know, I will just pick and then I would chew and my friends will look at me and it's my friend. No, I used to do that,
You swallow.
So they taught me how to cut, you can cut this way, you can cut that way, you can make a dimple, you have to swallow. And my friend, I'm watching, you have to swallow. So now I'm a master. I know fufu actually tastes better when you swallow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not shanty, but I've never eaten fufu in my life.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, of course.
You're missing something big.
That's what they say, but I don't know what exactly I'm missing. So, and then to the University of Ghana from SOS.
Yes.
I mean, tell me about life on the University of Ghana campus when you had that independence as an adult, without the protection and the supervision of your parents.
So that was when I decided that I'm no more going back to Korea. I'm going to live here as a Ghanaian. And joining University of Ghana, I joined straight to level 200 because I did Cambridge IGCSE at SOS College, and I did International Baccalaureate IB Diploma, which gave me direct placement to level 200, and I went to the School of Admin. First semester, guess what? I had all A's.
All A's?
I mean, it was very, I had all A's. And I felt life was boring. And I knew that I'm born to create something more. So I reached out to one of my cousins in Korea who was into printing in a large format prints. And through him I brought equipment. I started business when I was level 200 second semester.
Also, business has always been in the blood.
Yeah.
Is that the reason? Is that the reason why you studied business administration?
Yes.
Because you wanted to become a businessman?
Yeah, my father wanted me to be a businessman so I can make money and use that money to use it for missions.
So all your schooling has been in Ghana, from SOS to the University of Ghana, and you've got your own business thriving.
Yeah, no, I started business when I was at Legon, as I began University of Ghana. And I became very successful and very famous student at Legon because I was sponsoring all the events. I sponsored Ghana Music Awards, I sponsored
Ghana Music
Legon.
Awards?
Yeah. I know Daddy Lumba very well. I even gave an award to, the president of Ghana Music.
Obo.
He was, I think he was also VMate. I've had my time with Ghana as into media. I was printing and I used to sponsor a lot of events. So many of the students knew me as I was schooling, and that actually brought me to get to know more people because I was one of the best graphic designers. And of course, CEOs of big companies would like to know and meet the person who is designing, and CEO will tell you, I want to achieve this from this artwork. So I got access to meet MDs of so many different companies through advertising.
But on school, you're on campus then.
Yeah.
So how did you raise the capital to start a business?
It was my cousin in Korea from whom I got the equipment. And I was looking for an office space to start. I didn't have money. So one day I had a dream. I was busy looking for a space and I had a dream. God showed me a place. And on that day, my father told me there is a Korean captain who is married to a Ghanaian woman. And he has a house office next to which is not used. Why don't you go and have a look? It happened to be a shaman. When he told me he's a shaman, I said, no, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. He said, no, just go and have a look.
Why? Because a shaman had
I'm like, come on, advertising, your office is a shaman.
It's not far from the city.
So I went to a shaman and you know what? God is wonderful.
You just love the place.
No, it was exactly the same as to what I saw in my dream. And I said, this is the place. And so my very first workplace I was in a Shama. I'm a Shama boy before I became a boy, and now a Accra boy.
So on campus, you employed other people to work with you?
I actually employed my own friends and my seniors.
And they didn't interfere with your studies?
Oh, it actually did. It actually did. But I actually hired my seniors, those who did masters.
Okay.
And those who did. So at one point, when the year I was graduating, I had a total of 15 workforce, out of which 8 were my mates and seniors from Legon. And of course, it affected my studies. And, you know, I'm so sorry, but I did what I had to do called chew and pour.
Okay.
So I always was able to pass, just, you know. So yes, it did affect, but I never regretted starting business.
So the decision to sponsor, for example, the Ghana Music Awards and the likes, was it to give your company that visibility, or you just wanted to be part of what society was talking about?
To be honest, there was not much business. The biggest business I had since I started in 1999 was the year 2000. There was election. And still in the year 2000, people were, you know, painting billboards. And I think it was between President, you know, Kufuor and Mills.
The late Mills.
The late Mills. And party supporters, you know, they come, you know, with their faces. I printed thousands of their faces, you know. So that was one business that I started in Ghana. Of course, many of them didn't come back to pay, which means I've never, you know, voluntarily supported the parties, but indirectly I've supported both parties in so many different ways. Yeah, so because I wasn't busy, when an opportunity comes like that, it's a good time to promote my business.
Okay.
So all I did was to print the backdrops, the banners, the billboards. Yeah.
And is this business so on?
No, in 2002, I had a feeling that I had to move on because I'm very spiritual. I pray a lot, and I had a feeling that it's time to move on. And I called all my colleagues and told them that in the next 6 months, I have a feeling that I'm going to move on. So you have to manage this business yourself. And in the 6 months, I moved to campus. This time I started the biggest internet cafe.
Okay.
It was called Speedstar. Speedstar. It was internet cafe. I served both Commonwealth Hall and at the Central Cafeteria. But you see, God is so wonderful. When I was at Billboard, I was into advertising. I used to visit Scancom, Space One.
Yeah, formerly.
Now MTN.
Yeah, now MTN.
Begging for business. Because my machine was smaller, they wouldn't give the business to me, and because I was from my shaman, they wouldn't give business to me. They were all importing the prints from South Africa.
Okay.
But I used to go there every week just to show my commitment and my desire. I've done that for 2 years without a single job. Now that I've moved on to something different, data business on campus, I happened to have visited MTN after a while, and they were quite in shock because a guy who used to come every week hasn't appeared in like 6 months. And they say, "What do you do now?" I say, "I'm into this on campus." And they say, "Then I have a business for you." So they gave me payphone booths.
Okay.
If you remember that back in the days, mobile phone rates, the tariffs are very expensive.
Right.
So especially students go only.
And it was actually hard
flash.
to come by a mobile phone at that time too.
No, but of course initially, but after a while, everybody used that as a beeper. And the reason why that happened was it was totally impossible for Ghana Telecom to connect to Space Phone and vice versa.
Okay.
So everybody had to move on to mobile phones. And the rate that I was charging the students was about 1/3 of how much was officially being charged.
Okay.
So the payphone booth that came to me was a blessing because I had students queuing for about 20 meters every day to make the affordable, calls. And through that payphone business, I actually got into MTN authorized distributorship.
I mean, I'm asking all of these questions because, I mean, at that time and at that age and still pursuing degree, and you decided that, no, I want to add value to myself. I want to do other things to bring in the revenue. Not a lot of people do that, especially when they are at that stage of their life. And so I wonder, is it because you had parents who would push you to the limit, or you had your own ideas that you were willing, regardless of the risks, to pursue?
I disagree with you in a way by saying that when you travel to Norway, Sweden, Scandinavian countries, you know how they are. They are quite laid back. I don't see any urgency in them.
Okay.
I don't see any sense of entrepreneurship in them because government basically sponsors everything for them. Ghana is a home of entrepreneurs. There are so many people of my kind. For me, is the lack of resource that people aren't able to pursue what they dream. I was lucky because I had a cousin who was already into that business, from whom that I was able to convince to send the printing equipment, which I started. But I can bet you that Ghana has the best of the best entrepreneurs. When we actually support them and give them the best, platform, I can bet you that we'll have very, very, very powerful businessmen from
So
Ghana.
clearly the ideas may be there, but what maybe challenges the resources to have it take off from the ground?
Because you're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to try, and you're allowed to fail. You're allowed to try again, and you're allowed to fail again. And as you're trying and then failing, you get something that you can hold on to. But we don't have many chances, and we are not given that opportunity. The one chance that you have is like the only opportunity.
But personally, I mean, since being in the business environment, you think the environment is conducive for startups to grow?
No, it hadn't been so. If you will compare us to other developed countries, there are so many, business is not just by you, it is linked and it is all ecosystem. Banking is just one side of it.
Okay.
The government is just one side of it. And they all come together, interconnected, to provide that conducive environment for young starters to start. I think we've lagged behind.
What would be your suggestion if you are asked to change this narrative, for example?
I believe that when there is a will, there's a way. I believe that the will of the leader, the will of the country, I believe that there's going to be a way. So perhaps I believe you've seen all the fruits and the result that has started coming in from our president, who is really, really working hard. I believe that his strong will will create ways and results.
Okay.
And I'm part of it to help him achieve more.
Okay. Then after school, when did pay switch come in?
So MTN authorized the distributorship, which is Nanatel. We were in charge of Eastern and Volta regions of MTN. All we did was to just resell the products MTN offered onto us to the regions. So pretty much it is not ours to hold on to. And as technology was advancing and our need was actually decreasing to MTN. But I saw an opportunity of a whole new space. When you travel to other countries, every banks have their own data center with very qualified tech people. And banks themselves have the system of being able to integrate them into all different networks around the world, where they can issue Visa card, MasterCards, and also their own scheme from within the bank. Offer services of POS and ATM and online banking. Out of 20 banks we have right now, you'll be surprised only maybe 1/4 has that system.
Okay.
The remaining 3/4 are buying such system from outside Ghana. And my question was, why are they doing that? Why isn't there a company in Ghana that can provide this service for these banks? And I was studying into it and I realized of a whole new instrument called credit.
Okay.
Korea, America, Asia were able to triple and quadruple their GDP in no time because they used an instrument called credit. Credit basically empowers all of you with purchasing power.
Right.
But what is credit? Credit is basically an instrument. It's not real cash.
No.
It's a trust, right? But what forms credit? I was actually delving into it. There are many, many criteria. How much do you own? How much do you own? What your asset portfolios? The time you change your banks. But the most important criteria is your payment history. Your payment history. If you show people that you pay on time without delay, your credit rating
It goes up.
Goes up, and there's something to start credit on you. Ghana didn't have that.
And we still don't.
No, right now, PaySwitch, PaySwitch comes in. What we do is we harvest payment data. All this data we are losing to the third-party payment processing companies outside Ghana. But now that we are able to harvest those data, we have a system now, our own system, which does credit rating. So we actually have started some solutions with MTN and a few banks to offer, buy now, pay later kind of products. So yes, sooner or later, Ghana is going to enjoy credit.
We are talking to Ghana's ambassador to South Korea, Kojo Choi. We will take a short break. When we return, we are not going to go into the role expected of him as Ghana's representative in South Korea, and plus other issues that everybody is asking about. I mean, his connection to Ghana, food, art, and other things. I've seen something on this table, chess, and I see a lot of this in the Office of Businessmen. Perhaps you will walk us through why this is so important and how they are able to strategize using some of these things when we return from this short break. Welcome back. This is a pause, and of course, we've got this exclusive with Ghana's ambassador to South Korea, Kojo Choi, is still here with me. And we're going to go into other matters. We'll talk about food, we'll talk about art, we'll talk about football, we'll talk about his family, and plus other interesting things that you are waiting to hear from him. But Kojo, so you are yet to take your post in South Korea, but what briefing have you been given so far?
There's going to be orientation and full sessions of, a program for all the ambassadors. That is going to be in the next few days. Okay. So we are yet to see what training and readiness that we'll be equipped with.
So it's unclear when you formally take your post?
No, it all depends on the host country at the moment. I believe Ghana has sent the letter introducing all of us to the respective countries.
Okay.
The host country will now receive that and have to now endorse accepting the person who is coming. So we are basically waiting. Everybody is waiting for that documentation.
And so it's safe to say that you don't know your marching orders as we speak.
But from Ghana, everything is set. From Ghana, everything is set. So as I said, it depends on how fast the host country will respond. Normally, if it's very fast, it will take about 2 to 3 weeks. If it's very slow, it might take up to 2 months, is what I know is the normal process.
I mean, South Korea is one of the biggest economies in the world. I mean, you talk about South Korea and you are talking about Samsung, you are talking about, vehicles that's, some of your brands are well known in Ghana. I drive a Kia Sportage. And so South Korea has become a major player in global affairs. Now, I've been looking at the numbers between Ghana and South Korea. According to the Observatory of Economic Complexity, as of May 2025, Ghana's export to the Korean market stood at $10.6 million, whilst import from Korea stood at $13.8 million, resulting in trade deficit for Ghana at $3.9 million. Is this something you are willing to change, and what will be the strategy to do so?
The number that I just took, I believe that the export from Korea to Ghana will be much higher than that, I believe.
Okay.
The reason why the volume that is captured from Ghana to Korea is very small is because most of our products that are being exported, some of them can't be exported directly and straight to Korea. I believe the Koreans are buying that through the agents of Ghana. So indirectly, whatever they are buying will be way, way higher than that. Because I know there is a company called Lotte. They manufacture chocolate with Ghana brand.
In fact, that's the major trade between Ghana and South Korea.
Cocoa, yes.
Chocolate and cocoa products.
I can comfortably tell you that they buy in a year chocolate worth of $400 million a year. And I am pretty much sure that quite a chunk of part of that is Ghana cocoa. So why isn't that registered here? Because they buy through the market in Europe.
They don't buy directly from Ghana.
Yes.
So
I believe that is the reason why it is low. But rightly you said there's a need to find more avenue to export what we can to Korea. For example, like Bulgar basket. Let's talk about very simple term of Bulgar basket. It's very nice. It's very beautiful. It's about how to showcase it there and for them to find a beautiful need for it. If let's say Korean, I think they are now about 50 millions. If 50 million, meaning they have home of let's say maybe 20 million homes. I mean, if you have let's say 10% using Bulgar basket, that's a good number of Bulgar baskets in Korea. Of course, it will take some creative ways and means
to do it,
to find what to export and how to export. So, as you mentioned, my role as Ghana's ambassador to Korea will be looking into all aspects of possibilities.
But for example, the Bulgar basket that you talk about, what will be your proposal to get the basket into the Korean market, for example?
First, I'll have to speak to Madam Jifa at the Ministry of Tourism.
Because I know so many friends of mine who are into that kind of business.
We have to just find a way of the entire system promoting and supporting, such export. We have to try and remove whatever bureaucracies and difficulties that exist, which prevent even people from carrying baskets when they are going home by themselves. At the moment, you'll be surprised that it's very difficult to carry because there are certain restrictions, even from our own land. So, as I say, to take very creative approaches. But I just want to touch the Korean side of it. If you look at Korea, Korea was also colonized by Japan.
Right.
And soon after the independence, they suffered outbreak of war. And that basically brought the entire Korea flat. In 1970, Ghana's GDP was almost same as Korea's GDP. They don't have cocoa, they don't have gold, they don't have the peace that we have. It's a country that is surrounded by the world, powers.
Right.
Japan, Russia, and China. So whilst they're busy building their business economy, they have another huge responsibility of looking what is happening elsewhere. But see what they've been able to achieve in no time.
Right.
I believe that I standing as a bridge between Ghana and Korea, some of the best practices, some of the best success models should be brought in for us to try. And also the other aspect of many Korean companies at the moment, they are in need of the next journey of their business. For example, the petrochemical factories in Korea right now, they are really suffering. Meanwhile, we don't have much of petrochemical here. Why are they suffering in Korea? Because they have to import crude oil or natural gas all the way in its natural form to Korea.
Right.
They now have to process it. It makes everything more expensive. And whereas in Ghana we have all the raw materials and we have the market that needs the products from such factories, what about perhaps being able to convince them to relocate their factory to Ghana? Of course, they will not come here unless they are pretty much sure that they are protected and the market is here and is conducive. So it will be also our position to how we make their coming comfortable. If you look at other countries...
But for example, can they draw lessons from companies from South Korean origin that are already operating in Ghana? For example, we are assembling Kia vehicles in Ghana. Isn't that a classic example of the conducive business environment that exists in Ghana? That others can look at it and say that if these people have been able to do it, and with your coordination, we can have more of them set up in Ghana to create the needed business and jobs that is quite crucial in Ghana.
It is a very good indicator. It's a very positive indicator to the companies in Korea. But Koreans naturally are already very wealthy. many of them don't know why should we go out of their comfort zone. So it will take more than that. So I want to draw your attention to our relationship, Ghana's relationship with many other countries. I understand one of the mining company is a license and going to be renewed, and you hear all sort of stories, with other countries. What so far happened to us was the unfair balance of share of wealth. Many countries have their own agenda and interests. If there's a country without such selfish agenda, trust me, it's Korea.
Right.
So they will be very much willing to come onto the table, and Ghana should be very comfortable to discuss with them, what would be the win-win model for Korea and Ghana. And I believe there's going to be a very, beautiful meeting point.
And you have a huge responsibility on your hands as you go into this territory. I see Korea try to rebrand, and they are doing so well at it. I mean, for example, if you are watching Netflix these days, you see a lot of Korean movies, and they are portraying the culture, the country, and everything around it. And I wonder, in terms of positioning Ghana as a business destination, branding Ghana the way Korea has been branded to us via some of these avenues, what are the strategies for you?
I don't think they knew themselves that one day K-drama was going to be that big.
Yeah.
They never knew that one day the K-music was going to be that big. They never knew. They never knew the K-food was going to be that big. So the question lies to us, will there be a time that G-drama is going to be big that way? Is there going to be a day that G-music is going to be big that day? I mean, one day, they didn't know.
Right.
We don't know. Am I right? If you look into our music, do you know that I would say is one of the most creative and beautiful, music that we have in the world.
Ghana music.
Yeah, but I believe there's a trend. If you look at the shape of vehicles, one day, some decades is roundish, some decades is very,
right.
pointed, some decades, now it's boxy again. I see we've gone back to the 60s. So I believe there's a certain trend that goes around the world. And we just pray for the day that, they love what we have. And I believe that just the way they didn't know, we didn't know, but we realize that we are there too.
And you say that Ghana is ready for business, at least from your perspective.
Of course, yes. Right now, all the indicators are saying we are very serious. So I believe that we are super ready.
Now, let's touch on the lighter issues of this. I mean, your family, how is your family taking this?
I am still processing, so I wonder how they are processing it. It is a greatest honor done to my father, who has served our Ghanaians and the villagers, who already has a graveyard earmarked for him in Ghana. So this has really served him as the best present as a son and as a Ghana could give to him. I have two siblings, so we have three in all.
Okay.
All of us graduated from University of Ghana. And I believe that is more or less, in fact, I haven't even dreamed about it, so it's not even dream come true. I would say, like the K-drama thing. We didn't know it coming.
Right.
So it will take a bit more time for me to process, but when I'm done with processing, we'll revisit the question.
But so far, they're okay with the new road that you are taking? I mean, getting into the public space, the attention on them.
There's time for everything. So I believe that when there was time to be very quiet at the back and just do your best in what you do. And if there's a time that I have to perform at a bigger level, then of course it comes with its conditions, and we're happy to accept it.
And also you are into arts. I mean, I see a lot of artwork in your office. I also did arts at the secondary school, so anybody who is into art, I mean, you are automatically my ally. And you've done some of this even beyond your office. I mean, how do we maximize this? I mean, there are a lot of Ghanaians who are into this. Ibrahim Mahama, for example, and a few other individuals.
My passion for art came in about 15 years ago. There was this very poor artist whose son was sick and he was looking to pay the hospital bill. And he brought about 5 of his paintings, and I wasn't into art. My house had no art. It had some few, pictures. So it's just compassion that compelled me to purchase those arts, and I hung them into the various places and houses. And guess what happened? My house had turned into a hotel. So one day I just decided to take off the paintings to see what effect I would get. And when I removed those paintings, my house became a warehouse.
Okay.
And that was when I developed beauty for arts. And I started collecting, not because initially I love those arts, because I don't even have the eye to tell you which is better. But I started buying paintings because I wanted to help the artists that were struggling. And I collected and collected, and one day about 5 years ago, I realized I had collected about 400 paintings. 400 paintings. I'm like, what am I going to do
with 400 paintings?
With them? And the idea that came out is, why don't I promote this and use mine to start, because I have a collection of a few, and this will help and support many, Ghanaians. Do you know why our art is very powerful?
Tell me.
Kwame Nkrumah, with his vision, selected 7 best performing professors in arts and pattern fabric design, and sent them to the Royal College of London to study arts. So the professors in Ghana who was already into arts, understanding with the talent and our touch of Africa, now blended that of the Europe. Like Professor Blade Glover. He was into pattern, he was a pattern designer. And he's actually the work of our, Dr. Osachifo Kwame Nkrumah. That is why our arts are much better than, in fact, most of the countries in Africa.
Are we likely to see, maybe, for example, when you finally take office, an exhibition of Ghanaian arts in South Korea?
Just 3 weeks ago, what's his name? Amar Kobafo,
right,
who uses his finger to draw. I had a call that he has exhibition lined up in Korea, and they were not getting visas from the Korean embassy here. So I had a call from somebody, and I quickly stepped in, and I helped them secure visas so that they can go attend the exhibition. Guess who came to the exhibition? Just take a guess.
That's a guess.
The most richest person in Korea, his wife, he and his wife came. The big shots, I'm sure if you are listening to this, my interview, I'm the one who helped.
Of course.
So more of such is what I'm going to organize in Korea. There's a need to, of course, celebrate the already successful artists, but there are so many talented whose works have not been given the opportunity.
Of course.
So I'm going to focus on both levels.
And that obviously is good time coming from those into the art space.
Sure. Of course.
And then from arts, music and arts, they've got relationship. You early on you spoke to me about your relationship with even Daddy Lumba.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
No, it's Ghana Music Awards.
Ghana Music Awards.
Abenwaha was the thing, The time has come.
Apart from Daddy Lumba, who else is your favorite?
Obrafo.
Obrafo.
He was good. Lord Kenya.
Lord Kenya.
He disappeared, but
he's now into the gospel.
Ministry?
Yes, into the
I know all of them because of Ghana Music Awards.
Ghana Music Awards. What about the current crop of musicians we have? We have Stonebwoy, Shatawale, Samini, and the likes.
I've shifted I've shifted more to the gospel music.
Oh, to the gospel music.
Yeah, so I listen a lot to the most popular Ghanaian, gospel music, without any preference to, of course, Joe Metal.
Joe Metal, great.
Yeah, of course. Wow. I just go to Spotify and try and listen to, all of them.
So.
In fact, let me, it would be very bad if I don't mention Ochami Kwame. I'm so sorry, my brother. The rap doctor.
Ochami Kwame.
He's a pro-Korea person, so he really loves Korea also, and he loves to promote Ghana in Korea. So I am looking forward to do something with him in Korea as well.
Great. But from the start of this interview up to now, one thing that has always run through everything you've said at every stage in your life and what you've done, you've always put God first. And I wonder why that is so important. Some say that religion, sometimes business, politics doesn't mix. Sometimes you are forced to do certain things that may be against your religious belief. But yet you've kept this relationship with God going.
No. You know, when you have a father who has shown with his exemplary life, my father has no savings.
Okay.
My dad has not given me $100 to support my business. And I respect him so much. And I respect him because his relationship with God is purer than anybody that I've seen. So the success that I will, what will I say, put a, what do you call it, a success that I will call in life would be, will I ever be respected by my own children?
Okay.
No matter how rich I am, no matter how successful I am, trust me, they will not respect me. But when they see me and my relationship with God being so pure, I know I will earn their respect. So like my father, I have no savings. So
you have no savings?
No, I have no savings. I have no savings.
So where is all the money going?
I do, I do a lot, here and there. So God knows.
Okay.
There was a time, I'll tell you a very interesting story so that you understand. I believe life is a journey.
Right.
And the day that you are called, you just have to surrender and come. Bible says that for the richest there, it will be hard.
It will take hard. It will be very hard to make heaven.
So one day, about 10 years ago, I went to Bolgatanga up north, and I went to the Bongo district on mission, and we spent about a week. Whenever we returned from such trip, I cry out of the effervescence that I have in me. It's beyond just the moving of your heart. You actually have that. And I bought it, the Antrak air, that called Fire Me There, if you remember.
Yeah, I remember.
So I had my wife with me, and my children were in Accra. And as the plane turned, we were going back to Tamale because we saw fire on the left engine, and we were just dipping very fast onto the ground. And I told my wife that I don't think we will make to Tamale the way we are descending. And I told her that today might be a very good day to die. I actually told her that I'm very happy to die today. Because, I was still in that sense of effervescence in me.
Okay.
The service of God and my children, God will take care of them. Myself and my siblings, it was God who took care of us. So what I'm trying to say is that life, I believe, is how true you are to God. And that will demonstrate your life with others and your work. So yes, God first in everything that we do.
Everything. Now, few issues here. I mean, you told me about fufu.
Yes.
What other Ghanaian food are you much into?
I love banku so much.
Oh, okay.
My wife loves banku with okra. All my children are okra fans, but I like banku with pepper.
With pepper.
With pepper. But when I travel to elsewhere for about a month, I don't miss kimchi, the Korean sort of. What I miss is kinky.
Kinky?
It's kinky.
Is it because you grew up in Accra?
No, I just love kinky, it's so spicy, the sourness of it, and fish that is so dry and hard, the chewy thing, and the most beautiful thing is after finish eating, the crumbs on your finger that is dried, you just pick, you take your time to pick, you spend about 5 minutes before you go and wash your hand, so it's like dessert. And then the cold water will just settle you, what I mean? The cold water tastes best after the hot kinky. So I miss kinky whenever I travel.
You do,
yes.
You do, of course. And then what about sports? Are you into, Tottenham Hotspur song, South Korean? I wonder if that's the team you support because of a song.
Well, I don't know. I don't watch movies. I don't follow dramas.
Okay.
And football is one also which I don't follow. And I'm sorry to all of you football supporters of Tottenham, Manchester United, and all of that. I'm sorry to all of you.
What about the local league?
No, we should support our local leagues.
Kumasi Asante Kotoko House of Hope.
Yeah. They say, no, we have to hype it. We ourselves have to hype it. And then as we talk, some of you are talking about me, Brony Coco, how can you be Ghanaian? Meanwhile, all of you are looking, isn't it ironic? I think we have to be more into what we own and who we are.
Okay.
Yes.
So growing up in Accra, did you support House of Folk?
No, I mean, I was with
Kotoko.
Kotoko.
Oh, then you are with me on that. then you are with me on that. But why Kotoko anyway?
You know, Ashanti for me.
Is it because of the Herbert Mensah factor back then?
No, for me it was more of the Ashanti link. You know, if there are a few kingdoms in Africa, you know, you can't do without, you know, the kingdom of Ashanti.
Okay.
So of course that is a team from that, you know, pride. Yes. So I wish all of you that will support, of course,
the local teams.
At the moment, I'm a very fanatic golfer.
Okay.
So, the free time that I have,
you do golf.
Yes, I go and play golf.
All
yes.
right. Now let me take you to this rather sad, you know, page in our life as Ghanaians. And exactly a week today, what is the time? It's past 11. I remember all of us were making calls because we had heard of this crash. We didn't know who was on board, and everybody was trying to get a confirmation so that we could break the news here and there. It's exactly a week.
Oh,
8 Ghanaians, you know, died in a helicopter crash. And tomorrow, the Muslims had their barrier over the weekend. The president will lead a national mourning tomorrow to bury
funeral on Friday.
The rest.
Yes.
First, how did you receive the news?
You know, the first news that came was a picture of the bigger helicopter capsized with some foam kind of thing on the ground, and it didn't look too bad. But the fact that a helicopter crash took place, it was a big blow to my heart, because you know, the first person that comes into your mind could be our president.
Right.
So I quickly fell on my knees. It was in my hotel room in Korea. It was 8 a.m. in the morning. It was. No, it was 11 p.m. in Korea when the news broke out in Korea.
Okay.
It was at night, and when I saw the news, I fell onto the knee and I started praying that, you know, there shall be no deaths. I kept praying, and later different image shows that, and this time I see, you know, fire, and I see a lot of things, and they say they fear for, initially was the fear for that, and they're still coming up with the names, and they mentioned, you know, some of the people, including the late Dr. Omani Boama. That morning, you know, at 8 a.m. in Korea, it was 11 p.m. in Ghana time. So basically, I happened to have had very hearty, you know, chats with late Doc.
Dr. Omani Boama?
Yes.
Okay.
So it was late night here before the accident. For me, it was early in the morning, 8 a.m. in Korea. And for me, from 8 a.m., 11 p.m., one day of the same day, you know, when I heard the news, I just broke. And what was more painful, and what was more ironic was, we actually scheduled a meeting for this week.
Okay.
He actually gave me an emoji of an aircraft and with a safe flight. So it really hit me so hard that since then till now, I have this tremor in my body. The tremor is decreasing every day though. There's this tremor on my body every day, the uneasiness, you know, in me. But I pray that as we give them the befitting funeral this Friday, the mission and vision must continue.
Must continue, truly.
And even this interview that you're hosting, I wasn't so comfortable initially, but you know, Ghana has to move on.
Right.
And there should be other elements of fresh and you know, that will encourage all of us, and that is why I heeded to the interview.
Right.
So, yeah, it is difficult. And who are we to ask God? Right. But we can only thank God that, I understand it could have been much bigger calamity. We just have to thank God and remember those souls and make sure their deaths are not in vain. And meaning that whatever aspects and mistakes that we have seen through this shall never repeat. And it is going to be our responsibility to ensure that they will not repeat. And when there is a will, I believe there's a way and there will be a result.
Thank you so much. But before we go, I mean, I do understand this. And what this does to business, perhaps I see a lot of this in offices, that the chess.
Yes. I learned how to play chess when I was young, and I was quite competitive. So I went to play in Ghana Chess Championship, where I met people like Sekou Nkrumah and Kojo Thompson and Francis Akwanda. Those were big chess names, and I used to play with them. Chess is a very strategic game. You actually get to understand everybody's character by playing this game. Somebody will just start attacking without any, plan of defense. So the most powerful player, guess how he plays chess?
Tell me.
He positions his weapons. He actually first positions, and he waits for the opponent to make a mistake. Because what will change the fate of the game is just one mistake and one pawn. Because the pawn can move up to the end of the square and return into a queen. And so we learn a lot from this. You learn how to strategize.
In business?
In business as well, yes. It's about positioning. It's about being very strategic. And don't attack until you are sure. And try and wait for your opponent to make a mistake.
All right. Oyo, thank you very much.
Oh, that's
and I'm sure say the best I can say be Korean so Yamenka.
Yo, Mati.
All right. So that's it. My name is Elton Brobe. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you very much.